For those of you that have been following along, I've been teaching Sienna, a student pilot, how to fly an airplane. So she is working on her private pilot license. I'm taking her through every step as her instructor, and now we're going to be working on takeoffs and landings in earnest. Also, radio communications on this lesson, so it's a really fun one to see all the little nuances of how to land an airplane. So come along, follow along, and let's get into it with Sienna. All right, welcome everyone. My name is Chris Palmer from Angle of Attack. I have a flight school here in Homer, Alaska, and also I do online ground school for private pilot instrument and beyond. And I've been teaching Sienna, a student pilot, how to fly an airplane. It's been going really well. I enjoy having her as a student. She's just really dialed in and passionate about it. So we're at the point now where I've gone through a lot of the stick and rudder skills, and now it's time to really start to hit the pattern and teach her how to land. I like to get those fundamentals outside the pattern and not work on landings too early. On this lesson, that's gonna be what you see. It's really interesting. We're just buzzing around the pattern and you get to see my little tips and tricks for her and how she deals with it as we go along, in addition to her doing radio communications for the first time. So let's jump in the cockpit and let's go. Okay, now we can hear each other. Because this knob here tells the electrical system, hey, now we want to turn on all the stuff that drains the battery. Okay. We don't want to drain the battery until the engine is helping the battery charge. And the engine helps the battery charge by the alternator. Now, right now this is off. Right, and then if you click on, watch this number jump up. So now we're charging it at 30 amps. One thing that drains a ton of power is the starter that turns the propeller. If you imagine a mechanism that is electric that has to turn that huge propeller and get the engine going, it drains power fast. So that's why we keep all that stuff off. And now that it's on, now it's powering us up. All right, now you have a radio call.
Yeah, Homer traffic, medevac 7 Foxtrot Juliet, we're overhead now. Joining right traffic, runway 4.
Okay, perfect. So now you can say Homer traffic 23 uniform, taking runway 4.
Homer traffic 2423 uniform, taking runway 4.
There you go. All right, let's pull out there. Remember, you'll need a little right rudder for takeoff. And I'll try to let you do it all.
Am I good to take off?
Yep, you're good. Make sure your feet aren't on the brakes. Yep, and a little right. There you go. Just little bits of pressure. Just keep the pressure in as you're going down. All right, she's ready to fly. Woo! All right, and keep 80 for your climb. It's a little steep. Keep 80. Okay, pattern work. It's gonna be busy. You ready?
I guess so.
Busy for you, I guess. So remember, our pattern altitude is 900. We'll power back before then and level off. Okay, you can do that now. So power back as you push forward. Power back a lot, like 2,000.
Sure, final runway 4.
There you go.
Homer.
That'll help you stay. And we turn. And we call. More traffic, 23 uniform. Right crosswind, runway 4.
Homer traffic 2423 uniform, turning right crosswind, runway 4.
Oh! Look at you. Okay. Repeat. Repeat. One notch of flaps. There we go. And then good. And almost. All right, you can turn. Just try not to climb anymore. We'll go a little more nose down. And returning.
Homer radio 2423 uniform, turning right downwind, runway 4.
Perfect. The only thing you missed was you said Homer radio. Other than that, perfect. All right, good. Okay, so we'll stop the climb a little bit.
7 Foxtrot Juliet, Homer
A little bit more nose down like that. Slightly more power, so more like 1950 or yeah, right there. Try that. Trim the airplane. You don't have to do anything. Okay. And we're at 80. That's where we want to be. And then in my mind, or out loud really, I go through the checklist. Carb heat is on. Gas is on both down here between our thumbs. I don't know, what do you say? GU undercarriage, which would be like your landing gear, is fixed gear. Mixture is good. Prop, seatbelt switches. Okay, everything's good. And nose is still coming up slightly. And we'll keep a nice distance from the runway. We're getting pushing us a little too close. Now if it pushes us close and we don't correct that, then we'll just end up having a really tight turn out here, right? Like we're gonna turn our base and basically be on final already. Which is fine if that's the way you want it, but all right, now you can turn in and do that power reduction. Okay, good, less power. About 15-ish under, there you go. You're keeping the nose up as you do that. Okay, good. And we're turning, so we do what?
Homer traffic, 2423 uniform, turning right base, runway 4.
Awesome. Okay, power back a little bit more, second notch of flaps. Looking for anyone underneath us on the final. And you can line up with final. You can go ahead and pick when to turn. Nice and gradual turn. Okay, so white over white means we're light. Red over white means we're just all right. So we're slightly high on the glide slope, which means we'll keep coming on down. And what I mean by that is I'm looking at the left two lights there. They'll actually tell us if we're on glide slope. So right now I see you steering a little bit like this. Just hold it still. See how you don't have to do much? If you steer this way, then you're gonna have to correct back that way. So just keep it nice and still, only do what you need. We're a little fast. I think our speed is still decaying. We wanna be about 70, but we're still looking pretty good. Let's power back just a little bit. And as we do that, we'll keep our nose up so we kinda hit the same spot and then retrim. All right, I'm gonna be here on power with you again, just like we did before. I'm just glancing at that speed now and again to stay right on target. You see that? I'm mostly looking out the runway. Okay. Things are looking nice. But here's where we start to pull it back. Here's that burn off. Okay, keep your nose up. Let it come down south. You got that shadow to help you cheat. See it? That's all you. All you. Picking up where we left off. I just put the carb heat off and the flaps up, okay? So you can go for another takeoff. There you go, a little rudder action. There we go, there we go. She's doing it. That's a much nicer attitude after takeoff. I like that. That felt more under control, right?
Yeah, first one's always rough.
Yeah, yeah. We're not like climbing for the heavens. We have it all under control.
Are you enjoying this video and want to learn more? We have an entire library of structured videos on angleofattack.com. We call this online ground school, and it's how you'll ace the written test required by the FAA. It's go at your own pace and all accessible right now on any device. Go check it out yourself or recommend it to your friends. Now, back to the video.
Good. We're gonna try to find 70 for our final approach. And if you look at where we're headed, right now I feel like we're gonna hit the light at the start of the runway, right? But if we pull up just a little bit, then we're gonna feel it taking us further down the runway now, especially with that power, right? So we make those little adjustments on the way down with power and pitch, find where we need to be. There you go, you got it. You really don't need to do much more with the power now, so I'm here, but keep it nice and smooth coming down. Okay, you're flattening out a little bit too much. Now you're pulling back that power gradually. Pull it back, pull it back, pull it back, pull the power back, pull the power back. Keep the nose up. Okay, keep the nose up. There you go. Oh my gosh, give me a break. Takes a little coaching, but you're doing that mostly by yourself. Feel how you let it sink down. We don't want the nose wheel to come down and hit and then start to ricochet, so we just kind of keep those main wheels to touch down first.
So when we're landing, do you want the power all the way back?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, we land with 0 power. The power doesn't do anything for us.
Yeah.
All right, you can put your flaps up. I know I did it for you last time, but make sure they're locked down. Okay, they are. Okay, all right, and you can go. Homer traffic, 2-3 uniform on the roll, runway 4, close traffic, Homer. All right, she is ready to fly. Oh yeah, little skip and a boop. There we go, climbing out at 80, fantastic. Everything we do in the final approach is smooth. We think ahead of time. If we need power, we do it ahead of time. If we need a little more pitch, we do it ahead of time, because if you let things get behind, then it starts to become a problem. So there I came in and I was helping you with the power, and that kind of interrupted it like smoothed things out a little bit, right? I just came in to smooth things out, make it more gentle coming down. Okay. I am going to take the controls. I'm going to do this one, and I want you to just watch everything I do and how smooth it is, okay? So here's my turn. I know I'm at my altitude. I'm pulling my power back. See how smooth my power reduction was? Bunch of flaps, carb heat, and I have my hand on the power. If I need to reduce it to come back down to my altitude, I'll do that. Okay, looking that I'm square with my runway, no one out there. Trying to fly my ground track that's square. I'm gonna turn. Homer traffic, 2-3 uniform, crossing the downwind runway 4, Homer. Really nice, easy turns. Nothing too fancy. Then we kind of find the heading that's going to keep us at distance from the runway. Just fly it. Because at any time along here, we could lose our engine, lose engine power for whatever reason, and I could make that runway and we'd be fine. That's the whole reason to fly a little closer like this. Another kind of rule of thumb is for any runway at any distance, at any altitude, be at the right pattern, distance, have the runway at the mid part of the strut.
Oh, that's helpful to think about.
Yeah. Because if you're like further out, then you need to be higher.
Yeah.
So it's just the angle of it works out. I'm right at my pattern altitude. Carb heat is on, gas is on both, undercarriage, fixed gear, mixture is good. Prop seatbelt switches, landing lights on. Okay. My 45 point on the landing. So I'm gonna pull my power gradually back. The attitude of the airplane really isn't changing at all because I'm holding it there. But I want to slow down a little bit. Homer traffic, 2-3 uniform, downwind the base, runway 4, Homer. I typically like to wait until my wings are level and then I'll pull that second notch of flaps. Now I'm kind of gauging where I'm at. I'm a little fast, so I just pulled back the power. But as I turn final and go into that wind, I'm probably gonna have to add power. I could have actually not added the power.
Speed do you want to be at for like landing?
70.
Okay.
So 80 for base, 70 for final. Homer traffic, 2-3 uniform, final, runway 4, Homer. You see how there I like turned too early? And now I'm kind of just scooting into the runway. See the red and white? So that means we're like right on the path. Didn't really look at that a lot, but like when you're in the very beginning stages, it's helpful to see. Typically for big airplanes. Okay, so now I'm set up. I'm nice and trimmed. I've got a power setting. That's nice. And now I'm just making small corrections to stay on center line. I don't have to do much more. Little fast, will pull a little power, but then we get to that burn off and flare. So Pulling the power, I'm idle now. And now's where I have to add that pressure. Nose is coming up. I could keep it right here the whole time. Just like at that altitude or a slightly higher attitude, and you would make the landing every single time. Okay? So the reason I did that, and I wanted you to see that, I want you to do the rest of them, by the way, but I just want you to see the connections in between are so smooth, and how we connect every little part, okay? All right. Your controls.
My controls.
Your controls.
Okay, in the last video with Sienna, I did something new and interesting that I wanted to try out, and that was super thanks to help Sienna fund her flight training. So I just thought this was interesting because obviously it's pretty hard to afford learning to fly, and even though Sienna's like doing it and she's paying for it, I thought it would be helpful if we could help her even more because she's letting us show all of her training on YouTube here. So what happened was I released that or announced that, and you guys donated $519 and change that she can use for her flight training, and that is just so awesome. I was really, really impressed to see so many of you just jump on board and support. Some of you small amounts, others, you know, 50, 100. I saw a $200 one. That's just crazy. So thank you so much for doing that. It's just really, really neat to see. And if you want to do that again for any of these Sienna lessons, feel free to do so. Hit that super thanks and donate whatever you want. 100% of that will go to her training. So I am keeping track of that, and I'm just really excited for her to have that little bit of a boost for allowing us to show her training here on YouTube. So thank you so much for doing that, and let's keep it going.
Okay, scoot over this way just a little bit. You're still a little shallow. You see how it's red over red? On the left? Red over red, you're dead. This means you're low. Which it feels like we're low, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get back to where we need to be. That would have been a good time if you were on a solo flight to just go around and try again, because unless you feel really confident about doing this, kind of getting back. Okay. Now, just get that attitude down. Now we're kind of normal. Power's out. Judge your height above the runway. Look down the runway. Yep, good catch. Good catch. Yes! Nice. A little more power. Once you're at this part of it, you usually need a lot of power to kind of hold it where it needs to be. Okay, good. Let's creep over this way a little bit more. Be a little more loose on the controls, I think.
Radio, good afternoon, Cherokee 901 Bravo Lima, taxi out with Juliet, I believe.
Okay, looking good. Okay.
Southbound.
Coming on center line here, nice and level.
Is the Cessna short final, touch and goes, runway
And
4.
pulling your power back smoothly. And holding her off, eyes down the runway, a little too high, relax, now pull. Ba-doop, ba-doo. See how you ran it off a little too high?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can correct that by releasing a little bit of pressure. The nose is still up, but releasing a little pressure coming down, and then finishing. That was good. Okay, the reason we lost that is just your attitude got out of, like we had plenty of speed and everything, but then you let your attitude get down and the nose came down on final, like it was, we started our final, and then we were too like fast and low. Then we had to get on the power, it just got a little weird. So flaps up first, and then we'll go again. Alright, now your drift's still drifting that way, so get back to center line. A little fast. Yep, little pitch and power. Okay, good. You just got that back. So now we'll settle in on speed a little bit more. And now roll in just a little touch of power. Right about there. Maybe a hair less, but that feels just fine for now. Okay, we're flying it down nice and loose, nice and trim. On center line.
Homer traffic, swing basic to the Victor, right base to final 4, Homer.
Alright, come back over to the middle. And start your process. Power back, hold it up, good. Hold it up, a little bit more. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, okay, good. If you pull back that power too fast, it just wants to go bam. So the reason I pull back slow is so I can control that whole process smoothly, okay? All right, go ahead and go. Now we're losing a little speed. Just glance down at the speed, but then glance at the runway. Like looking at the runway most of the time, then just checking your speed. Okay. This is looking pretty good. That's nice. Nice power. Adding power. Come back to the center line. Creep over this way. Getting creepy on me. Okay, power and pitch feel really good right now. Nice and smooth. Light on the controls. Nice and smooth. Come back to the right a little bit. Okay, you're starting to think about that power reduction, right? Almost.
55, turn about a 2.5 mile final. Runway 4, number 2, Hummer.
Nice. Think a lot of time to turn around and taxi back, or should I exit on Alpha?
Oh no, you got time. Yeah, go for it. Plenty of time.
All right, 2-3 uniform. My controls. That was great landing. I didn't say anything there at the end. Okay, great job today. Great job. Lots of little details, right? Everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot to keep track of.
And it's a lot of like in between to just know how the airplane slows down and what it'll do. Like you just have to kind of watch that stuff. So I thought you did really good with it. Your landings were all, I'll say like the burn off. You can taxi by the way if you want. The burn off and the flare that you were doing, they were all very controllable and I liked a lot of them.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that lesson with Sienna. I thought it was really cool to look back on and see her progress throughout. She's doing fantastic. Just really cool to see those little tidbits that help her. Of course, even as a flight instructor myself, I see things I can do better and ways that I can teach better. Much more to come. I'm kind of following every step of her journey. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure to like this video. If you liked it, I hope you did. If you're here still, you probably did. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to stick around and the notification bell if you don't want to miss a thing, because YouTube doesn't usually tell you about our videos all the time. Thank you so much for supporting Sienna, for supporting this channel. Fly safe, and until next time, throttle on.